I was having an image of like a person like facing a cake and seeing how that could sort of be in like a short movie where on the one hand it is a portal or the it is a symbol of like an ascent into heaven, or it is a dark symbol of a descent into hell. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing both times, but it totally depend. Your framing of it, your sense of yourself and the experience is completely different depending on the approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I could even see it being like in the movie format of like the person staring at the cake, and then there's like, imagery and voiceover or whatever of like, oh, if I eat the cake, I'll feel really good and it'll taste good, and then I'll feel shitty yes tomorrow, and that'll be really bad. And oh, if I willpower through the cake, it'll seem really good, but it's like a false heaven because I'm still dissatisfied on the other side, and it's boring, and it lacks enjoyment, and it's just a question of deprivation, and I can only keep that willpower up for so long, and sort of being stuck between these two competing voices that get louder and louder and louder, and the person just kind of like getting overwhelmed by them to the point where the sadness breaks through, the grief or whatever it is that is underlying the need for the cake. Why do you want the cake? What is driving that grasping for the cake that you then have to say yes or no to? If you don't know why you want it and you only have to say yes or no to it, you might want it because something in you is hurting and you've mistaken cake as the solution for that hurt. And it's not. And because it's not, you're stuck in this loop of willpower versus decadence, willpower versus decadence. Um, but all of that is a pull away from the sadness that has you eat the cake in the first place, the sadness that has you need sugar and chocolate as a means of feeling better about yourself. Which fine, like do it if you need to eat the cake because you're sad. You're better off eating the cake because you're sad and you feel better if you know that's why you're doing it than you are refusing to eat the cake and continuing to feel sad. But you're also bad if you eat the cake and you think you're actually feeling better. But if you can use it as a means of like uncovering that hurt, whatever it is that's driving that behavior, then you can develop character. Then you can integrate that part more consciously. Then it stops becoming an obstacle, and you can eat cake and enjoy cake when it's the time to have cake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that, how that it ends up leading towards moderation.
Yeah.
And that's again kind of like the Buddha, right? He goes from the palace, he goes to the asceticism, and eventually he's eating the rice porridge, and it's a it's a moderate thing. You're back to sort of living like a normal person, but you're completely different.
Hmm. Yeah, because you're no longer caught in the things that pull you away from it, from that living like a normal person. You're
Yeah.
sort of free of all those encumbrances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, yeah,
Yeah.
freedom, right? Liberation. Isn't that what the Buddha was teaching?